the sport of match poker, players play no-limit Texas Hold'em poker. Here's how it works. The objective of the game is to make the best 5-card hand possible from the 2 private hole cards a player is dealt, plus 5 community cards that are eventually revealed amid a few rounds of betting. Here's how poker hands are ranked. The weakest hand you can have is just a high card, a card that is higher than one your opponent has. This is beaten by a pair, 2 of the same card values. Next comes 2 pairs. This is beaten by 3 of a kind. The next hand above this is a straight, a sequence of 5 consecutive cards. Remember, an ace can be a card below 2 or the card above king. A flush beats a straight. This is where you have 5 cards of the same suit: spades, hearts, clubs, or diamonds. A flush can still be beaten by a full house. This is where you have 3 of a kind of 3 cards and a pair of 2 other cards. Next comes 4 of a kind, which beats every other hand we've mentioned so far. The most powerful type of hand you can have in poker is a straight flush, where you have a straight and a flush at the same time. But since any hand can always be beaten by the same hand with higher cards, the strongest hand a player can possibly have is a straight flush from 10 to ace, also called a royal flush. The dealer button indicates which player is the nominal dealer for the current hand. As the hand starts, the player immediately to the left of the button posts the small blind, a small forced bet. The player immediately clockwise from the small blind then posts the big blind, another forced bet that's twice the size of the small blind. Then all players are dealt 2 hole cards that only they can see. Betting action proceeds clockwise around the table, starting with the player immediately to the left of the big blind. This position is known as under the gun. The player betting options are: check. The player declines to bet for the moment and passes the play to the next player. You cannot do this if someone else has already bet. Since the small and big blind count as a bet, a player cannot check in the first round. Fold. Give up the hand completely, along with any chips contributed so far, if any. Call. Make the same bet as the last bet made to stay in the hand. Raise. Increase the bet made by the previous player by at least an amount equal to any previous raise. No-limit Texas Hold'em is the most exciting form of poker because at any time a player may push their entire stack of chips into the pot when they bet. This is called going all in. All players must take one of those actions in turn. The pre-flop betting round. The action begins to the left of the big blind, whose blind is deemed a live bet on this round. For example, if the big blind were 2, it would cost 2 for a subsequent player to call, or at least 4 to raise. Action proceeds clockwise around the table until all active players, being those who have not folded, have matched the last bet or raise in the pot. The flop. 3 community cards are then revealed. These are available to all players who are still anticipating in the hand. Another betting round then begins with the active player immediately to the left of the button. Once again, betting continues around the table until all remaining players have placed equal bets in the pot. The turn. The 4th community card is turned over. Another round of betting then starts, in the same way that we saw after the flop. The river. Now the 5th and final community card is turned over. Betting then proceeds for the last time in the way it did immediately after the flop and the turn. The showdown. If more than one player remains when the final betting round is complete, the players reveal their cards to each other and compare their hands. The player with the best 5-card poker hand wins the pot. If at any stage in the hand, a player is the last remaining player, meaning that all others have folded, then they are the winner of that hand and do not have to reveal their whole cards to anyone. In match poker, the amount of chips you won or lost in that hand is then compared against everyone who has played that same hand before. If you performed better than players ranked similar to you, you will gain rating points. Can you gain enough points to become a grandmaster? Will you play for your country as an international mind sport athlete? Thank you for watching our video. Now you can take what you've learned and apply it for free in our app, Match Poker Online.